Hi there, everybody. I'm Kim Thompson. I'm Bonneville's Vice President of Requirements Marketing, and I get to kick us off today for this Agency Enterprise Portal training. And I am just so happy that you're joining us here today for this training on BPA's new Agency Enterprise Portal, or AEP, as we're likely to call it pretty routinely. Among BPA's grid modernization projects, AEP is unique in that it's one of the few projects that you, our customers, and our constituents are going to experience directly. AEP is modernizing our face to the world through both Bonneville's public bpa.gov website and through the customer portal. This project modernizes our face to the world, our online public and customer experience. And from your perspective, I think you'll see a single consistent experience. For BPA, we'll have a flexible, supportable digital platform. I'm hoping that that combination is going to be a win-win. AEP will host BPA-produced content. It's going to provide secure access to your customer-specific information, and that's going to include metering information. And it's going to allow more efficient customer to BPA information exchange. AEP leverages BPA's online presence. It's going to deliver a modern, seamless, and consistent portal interface to improve customer service and satisfaction, to improve information availability and information exchange. And by doing so, we hope reduce transactional friction as you do business with BPA. This effort of AEP, it aligns with BPA's IT strategy. We're reducing maintenance costs and complexity by replacing outdated, customized end-of-life applications and platforms with commercial off-the-shelf solutions that we're designing to improve reliability with new technology and vendor support. Further, the effort aligns with our customer expectations. Today's enterprise web presence and our customer portal, honestly, I think you could tell as well as we could, they're inefficient, they're outdated. We're updating them to reduce the risk of system loss, and by doing so also, we're meeting requirements of the 21st Century Integrated Digital Experience Act. Finally, this effort enhances system capabilities to meet future demands, including the Western EIM participation. AEP is going to offer automated workflows that will allow you to become self-managed users with faster response times. It'll support user-initiated password resets, and we're going to have customer admins that can manage their own users and security roles in the system rather than having to work through a Bonneville point of contact to maintain who you want to have using the system on your behalf. I want to thank you for joining us today and learning about the system and how to use it. I'm joined here today by some of the principals on the project, and I believe I'm handing over to Maggie Rhodes, who's going to lead us through most of the session today. Maggie?
Thank you, Kim. I totally appreciate it. I'm going to get my video started. And I'm going to get my screen share. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Tara. Thank you for attending today. I truly appreciate it. We do have this meeting recorded so that we can post this onto the Sandbox SharePoint, Sandbox customer portal site later today or tomorrow, and wanted to let you know that. We are, a couple housekeeping items, we are in the Sandbox environment. So anything that you do in here will stay in this environment. It will not get moved over into the production environment. So wanted to give that information to you. So if you're setting up new users here, they will stay here. You will have to set them up again in the production environment. Also, if you do have questions, please put those into the Q&A area, and I will be pausing throughout the event to ask for questions, and then Deborah or Tara will be able to read those out to me so that we can get those answered and everybody will be able to hear. I appreciate the monitoring for sure. What we're going to do today is we are concentrating specifically on the customer portal admin role and how to set up customers, how to modify their permissions, and then also how to inactivate a user that you do not want to have access to your system any longer or your site any longer. I can answer other questions as well, basic questions if they do arise as we go along. I'm not sure if everybody was able to attend yesterday's in-depth left navigation training with regards to customer portal, but we do have that tomorrow as well. So if something does come up today, I definitely will answer it just to let you know. So let's go ahead and get started. Once a new user gets an email giving them a temporary password and a link to customer portal, they would click on that link. They would have to provide their temporary password, one-time use temporary password. They will be required to change their password. And then when they log in, this is what they would see. They would see the dashboard. If you have multiple accounts, then you would get a screen that would show those accounts, and then you would select which account you wanted to be in. And then, of course, you would come directly to the dashboard. Are there any questions so far?
Maggie, no questions so far.
Thank you, Deborah. Let's go ahead and go forward. So up in the left-hand navigation, we are in our sandbox environment. So we are in our test customer. If I click on the drop-down here, there are some additional activities. So I am showing an admin role today. So I will point out some differences there, what you would have versus what I can see. But all authorized users will have access to manage account. If they are authorized for more than one account, they would see the switch customer. And then, of course, the famous and always ever-present log out. However, customer portal admin users as yourself will have this manage users button here or link. And that's where we're going to concentrate today. So if I click on that, it will take you to your administrator's page. And this is where you will be able to add, edit, or remove users from your system. We do have some test accounts already set up so that you could see when you come in, you will see a list of your users. You will see that they are active, and you would also see when your users were last logged in. This will also allow you to monitor, and if you have a user that hasn't signed in for a year or two, you could be able to reach out to them to see if they truly need that access, remind them that they have it, or you could inactivate them. It's totally up to you because you're able to manage this. Also, BPA, we are required to provide reports to our cybersecurity about users. And so we figured you as the customer might have that requirement as well. So we also have this where you can download this report into a CSV file, and all you have to do is click on that. It will ask where you want it to go. We'll click on save. It's downloading, and then you're able to open it. Let me bring that over. And it gives you a list of your users, their email address, their status and their login, and of course, their site access. Then this is what we would be able to provide to our cybersecurity. So it would also be able to, you could provide it to your IT group or cybersecurity group as well if you are required to do so. So let's go ahead and get into actually how to create a new user and move forward through that process. All users that you are granting access to, we have authorized users, and we also have, so you have your company employee users, but then you also have a third party or possibly a third party user. And all of this is going to apply the same when doing this process. So I will also identify what might slightly be different between those two roles, between a company employee versus a third party. So by clicking on an add new user, you are actually, at this point, you are creating a company employee. You would type in your customer, your coworker, their information. You would put in their email account. If you were the admin for more than one company, then it would show here, but by default, it is your existing company. And then you give the user the permissions that you want them to have within your site. So let's take a pause here and let's walk through these. We have the authorized user, and the authorized user is everybody that would have access to the left-hand navigation. They would be able to view and download or print bills. They would be able to view or download metering reports, or they would also be able to view contracts, download those contracts, view load forecast or resource forecast, as well as these other items that pertain to your site. So the authorized user has access to everything. There are a couple add-on permissions, and these add-on permissions are additional capabilities above and beyond the authorized user. So for nomograms only, that is a section of data that is available, and that is in our services area under nomograms. If a user, authorized user, has this nomogram access only, then they would see this link on the left-hand side. But if the authorized user does not have nomograms permissions, this would not be showing them to them. Fiber only is regarding a specific kind of contract. So as I mentioned, authorized users, they have access to the contracts. They have access to all of your executed contracts except your fiber contracts. In order for a user to view, in addition to the fiber contracts, they have to have this permission checkmarked. And it's very easy to do. You select that they're an authorized user and you would just click them. You can have all three. You can have one or two, but it is an add-on addition to the regular authorized user. And then finally, load forecasting editor. Everybody has the ability to view the load forecasts, but this load forecasting editor capability is giving the user the ability to upload additional load forecasting information. And when they hit submit, then that information will go to our load forecasting group. They get an email notifying them that you have uploaded some information for them to go in and to retrieve, to review, and process. The other permission is MDMR2 only. This is the metering section only. So if a user, mostly a third party, but if you have granted a user MDMR2 only access, they will not see billing on the navigation. They will not see services under the navigation. They will only be allowed to see the metering profile, meter interval report amount report, the complex meter involves meter events, and scheduled reports. They would not see meter diagrams either. So the MDMR2 only is usually, like I said, for a third-party user, but it's not restricted to just a third-party user. And then finally, the customer admin, you will not see this permission. This is a permission only for BPA, and as I'm in an admin role, it is showing today. Your account is allowed up to 2 CP admins, and BPA has to create those 2 accounts. So if, for example, there's a change in one of the CP admins, all you would need to do is send an email to the customer portal support box at customer portal BPA at bpa.gov and let us know saying, hey, CP admin number 2, they're no longer here. We need to remove them and we need to add this user number C, and let us know when it's done. And our team would go in and create your new CP admin and get rid of the admin role on the other user for you. So just to let you know that that customer admin wouldn't be showing for you, it is a BPA rule. So we've put in our user information, we've given our user a permission, and I'm going to save those user details. Just to keep in mind, as you are managing these users and you're granting access to these users, you want to make sure that you are aware that it is your responsibility to give the right permission to the right user. It's that need to know concept. If there was an SOC violation, that would not be the responsibility of BPA. That would be on the account, because you are now managing your own specific users. So we created this test account and they came back and they are active, which means that they now have access to the system. Once you hit save and close or save and send, then what happens is the new user would automatically get an email with their temporary password and a link to be able to log in. Now, say this person, they are active currently, but you don't want them to be active anymore. You don't want them to have access to your system. They've retired. They've moved on to a different group within your company. So all you have to do is click on the pencil or the edit. And right here, right up at the top, you can click on inactivate user, and it says, are you sure? And you say yes. And it says that they were successfully inactivated. You can go back to managing your users. One sidebar is this is our sandbox environment. So it is running a little bit slower than what we anticipate for production, but just keep that in mind as you're in here working, looking around, practicing. Just keep in mind that it is running a little bit slower than what we anticipate. So we did inactivate this user, and now they show an inactive status. Are there any questions so far, Deborah?
Not in Q&A. No questions.
Great. Thank you. And then one other part is we do have status definitions down here. And so we've talked about active, and you've just seen inactive, and we haven't touched pending yet. And so we'll talk about that one here shortly. But I do want to come back and say, we gave the example that this user left and went to a different group and no longer needs access to customer portal. Well, it's been a while. They've decided that they're now in a different group and they do need access to customer portal. You don't have to recreate them. It's right here. All you have to do is just go in, click on your pencil. You would scroll down. They're still showing inactive right now, but you would go down and you go, oh, well, they're only an authorized user. They don't need these other items anymore. You hit save and approve. They could keep the same permissions as well. I was just showing that you can check mark them and edit a user's permissions. And it says that they've been successfully updated. If we go back, that person is now showing active. So activating and inactivating a customer or a user is pretty easy. And managing those
Jamie.
User permissions. Deborah.
Maggie, got a question. Will our existing users be transferred over to this new customer portal?
The users that we have in the system from our old legacy customer portal, they are in the sandbox environment, and those are the users that will go into the production environment at the end of the month. So if you have some changes between now and the end of the month, adding new users, you'll want to keep those and add them when we go live at the end of the month. But the existing users are in the system. Did that help?
Okay, and yeah, and one more from Matt. For a third-party user, can you control which meters are accessible by the third-party user?
Yes, you can. So let's talk about that. Remember I mentioned this pending? This is what happens for third parties. So today, if you have a change to an employee or to a third-party user, you have to send in a contract amendment, exhibit revision, and then it comes to us and we do all that. We don't have to do that anymore. It's all in your hands. So what happens though is BPA has to have a relationship information in the system so that you and your third party would be able to communicate with each other. So that is going to be really easy. You would just send us an email to customerportal@bpa.gov and say, hey, this is so-and-so, this is Maggie, I'm from Expedition, and I need, let's use Amazon. I need Amazon to have, I have a relationship with Amazon, and I need to have them have the ability to be able to get in to see my meters. And we go, okay. So we set up that relationship and we let you know when it's complete. And then Amazon customer admin, they would ask and send a request to Expedition and say, hey, can we have this user of ours access to your system? And you would say yes, no, or you can modify what kind of permissions that they requested. And I'm going to walk through that. So what would happen is, and this is on both ways, right? So if Amazon is requesting this, if I look at Amazon, then keep this in mind. I'm sorry, let me try again. The account that is requesting the access is the one that is going to send the request. So the owner of the meter data is the one that's going to be receiving the request. So if I'm requesting information from another account, I'm going to go into my employee. I'm going to edit my employee, and I'm going to click on this Add Site Assignment. And this site assignment only will show if there is a relationship built by BPA between you and your third-party account or your other entity. So in this instance, I have a relationship with Big Bend, and I'm going to say, hey, Expedition CP admin, which is myself, I want my employee that I'm in, I want them to have access to Big Bend, and I want them to have authorized user status. And I would hit Save Site Assignment. And when you see this, it would say pending behind it, but because I'm an admin, it automatically granted them access, but it would say pending here. Then Big Bend's CP admin, they would get an email and say, hey, Expedition is asking for access for their user. Do you grant it or not? And so then I would come in to my list of managed users. I would see a pending here for this user, and then I would just go in and click and edit that permission, and I can keep it as the authorized user, or I can say, no, I don't want them to have authorized user. I only want them to have an MDMR2 only permission. I would click on that, and then my meters will pop up down below. And because we're in our sample or test account, there's no meters assigned to this account, but you can check mark up at the top and it would select all your meters, or it would be a complete list of all your meters, and then you could check mark them individually, and then you would hit save and approve. But you are the one that is granting that permission from that third party for their user. Did that answer that question? That one's a little more in depth.
It's a simple question, Matt, with a very long answer.
It is very, very long.
He says, that's great, thanks.
Yes, definitely go in and give it a try. We have set up the site, the relationships that you currently have in the sample or the sandbox environment, so they are there. And so if you have a relationship with another account, you can test with your user points, your users, and ask for that request. Just keep in mind that this is the sandbox environment, so that other account would have to go in and either grant it or deny it. But yours would say, yours, when you would look at that individual user and it was over here, it would say pending until that account CP admin said yes or no. Okay? Were there any other additional questions, Deborah?
No. I would like to mention to folks, though, it would be best if you could use the Q&A for your questions directly to Maggie. Some are in chat, some are in Q&A. If you can't find the Q&A, one attendee had to click on the 3 dots in the bottom right corner to get to the Q&A. So that would be helpful if everybody would just use Q&A for the question.
Thank you, Deborah. I'll give a chance to see if we could find those chats to see if there was any chat questions.
Oh, I've been monitoring chat and all of the questions have been answered. So yes, now I think the folks in chat are over onto the Q&A area.
Thank you, Tara. I appreciate it. All right. Hopefully you were able to attend yesterday's training or are planning on attending tomorrow's training with regards to the left navigation. But I did want to point out a couple things. One is on the help screen, and the help is going to be where we are going to post these recorded videos. We hadn't had an opportunity yet today to post this morning's, so we'll try to get that in here as well. But this is also where we are going to post the manual that we've created for you. It's just a step-by-step and provide some additional information that we thought would be beneficial and helpful to you, since this is a new responsibility for you and managing your users. So that's going to be in this help in the training documents section. And then also are the FAQs. So each of the, on the left navigation, each of these pages has a section for up to 3 FAQs. And so they're also all brought into here, separated out by the category. And as you can see, the load forecast people, they had a whole lot more FAQs for you than any of the other ones combined. And again, you just click on the plus and right below it will provide the answer. But this is a complete list, whereas on the pages, they get up to 3. Like I said, the load forecasting team got overly excited and had a whole lot more to be able to have there for you. But this is where the videos, the videos will be on the BPA's YouTube page. The actual CP admin manual will be in this, right in here in this training documents area.
Maggie?
Yes.
Dennis asked, will the manual have definitions on the various permissions and why they grant access to, so we don't commit
yes.
a violation?
Yes, it does.
What they grant access to. Yes.
Yes. Yes, it does. It's very thorough. Yes. I have it handy. I was looking on my other screen. I don't have it handy that I could pull that up, but it is there. And again, if you have any questions after you get that or retrieve it, please just email the customer portal box and we'll be able to get that answered for you. We'll try to get that loaded this afternoon right after training today so that it's going to be there for everybody. This morning's group is also waiting for it as well. But yes, the definitions are there. Any other questions?
Not at this time.
All right. I know that we allotted a lengthy amount of time for this training. We wanted to make sure that you had quality time with us, that we would be able to answer any questions that you had, but also wanting to be respectful of your time because this was a little bit more of a shorter notice. We wanted to be able to provide and give you time back if that is something that would be beneficial to you. So I want to just reach out again and say, is there any additional questions that you might have? Were there any additional questions from yesterday, if you were in yesterday's training, that might have popped up after? Because I know I'm one of those people that after I get off the phone with the help desk or I get off of a training that I forgot, oh yeah, that one thing. And then it's like, oh, well, gone. We don't want that to happen today. I am going to mention a couple more things. Yes.
Sorry, one comment about if you would mention the unauthorized user issues that we're having with our sandbox users.
Yes, I apologize. I was going to bring that up before we started. Please forgive me. We are aware of that issue and our vendor is working on that. And as soon as we are completed with training today, they are going to go in and take the site down and get that fixed. And so we should have some better information later this afternoon and hoping that gets resolved. But our vendor is working on it right now. One of the other things that I wanted to mention, and I talked about it briefly, is if you're a new user, you will get an email with a link and a temporary password. It's a one-time password use, and you would be forced to change your password at that time. Another one of the emails that you'll get is when, again, a third party has asked for access to your site. You will get an email saying, hey, somebody wants to get in, and then you would have to come in here, excuse me, to a pending. You would be able to find them via a pending status and either approve or deny that. Another email could be the fact that users, regular users, and that would also include you, if you forgot your password, you would also get an email for that. Those are the emails initiated and are specific for either the user or the customer admin. But the other one that is available to you are the alerts. And this is something that I don't have access to as an admin. But if you go over into the manage account, that's where you would find your personal status, your personal, there's a block and it has your personal permission level. And in that, if you go right below it, there is a section based on your permissions will be a list of alerts that you can sign up for. And there's about 12 of them in total, I think. And those alerts could be a new bill was added or a new contract has been executed and added to the system. Those kinds of alerts themselves, a change in account executives. So those are the options that you have, and you can select one or all. And so you would get an email from us on those changes, which are being triggered by some sort of activity in the system. So those are the emails that you would get from BPA Customer Portal.
Okay, Maggie. one of our attendees had to take another call. Can you show again how to switch linked accounts?
Switch linked accounts? Yes. So if you are authorized to look in more than one account, when you log in, you will get to a screen that looks similar to this. It's spinning, so we'll pause. You would get a list of the accounts that you are authorized to see. You can filter by company name if it's a long list, or you might just have a few. Excuse me. And then you would just highlight and select the one that you want. And that will then take you directly into the dashboard of that customer. And that is one reason why we also have up in the upper left navigation area where it tells you what account you're in. Did that help?
Okay, thanks.
All right. The other thing that I do want to mention is we have had some people calling us that they never got their temporary password and logon. Please check your junk email. We've been finding that some accounts actually their IT group, the account IT group is blocking the emails. So please check your junk email. If you don't have it in your junk email, please email customerportal@bpa.gov and we can get you your temporary password. But we have been finding that when we send that to you, it's being kicked back because it is being rejected by your IT department. So we will work through that with you and let you know when we send it out. And then, of course, because we can reply to the customer portal email that you send us, and you get that, but for some reason, the emails from the AEP training is being blocked. And so we'll be able to help figure that out for you. We also have our phone number. So besides email, you can also give us a call, and that's 503-230-5999. And that is also on the legacy system, but it is also here under the contact page. Apologize, I'm still looking around for things too. Things have changed. This provides the email. Our phone number though is 503-230-5999, and I'll make sure that we get that added onto our page. We're finding some little nuances that we're still working on, but you can give us a call. Deborah, has anything else come up?
I don't see anything else in Q&A.
I don't have anything in chat either.
Great. We'll pause just for one moment longer just to make sure that if you do have a question, get that typed in and we can answer it now. Otherwise, we can give you back some time so that you can, nobody will know that you're free, right? You're still scheduled for training. So you'll have some free time to work on something without interruption. Or you can get into the sandbox and start looking around as well. Deborah, anything pop up?
Yeah, sorry, just a few more. Can users log in now?
Yes.
Okay, what are the requirements? What are the requirements for a password?
The requirements for a password, meaning the length and that kind of requirement, or the requirements of the password with regards to having to have it reset? I just want to make sure I answer correctly.
Well, yeah, kind of the rules. She said caps
Okay.
or uppercase, lowercase, that kind of thing.
Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I got the right answer for you. Yes, you need an uppercase alpha, you need a lowercase, a number, and a symbol. And the password length is 20 characters. However, by us having that 20 character minimum, there will be no password resets every 90 days. So you can set it and remember it, don't forget it, but you can set it and it would be the same unless you manually forgot your password or reset your own password.
Okay, and then was the manual emailed to admin users? I thought I read that it would be.
It has not yet. We want to get that up on the SharePoint. I'm sorry, I'm used to saying SharePoint. We want to get that up on the Sandbox environment, and then we can get that out to you. We did have some rejects on CP admin emails, and so we were trying to also verify those so that we could get that out.
And then, again, back to our user permissions. My users are getting error messages when they try to log in. What should they do?
If it's the error message that says you're not authorized, that's the message that our vendor is working on right now to try to get resolved. But they can give us a call or send us an email, and we can verify that they actually are in the system. Or you can send us an email or call, and we can verify.
Okay, that's all I see in the Q&A.
Okay, and one more thing about that. You can call us and we can check and verify, but remember, if you're able to log in, you can go to your managed users and you can check to see if they're there. And if they aren't, you can go ahead and add them as a new user. If they are there and they are getting a different type of error other than the you're not authorized, let us know so that we can investigate what's going on there with that specific account. Tara, was there anything more in chat? Okay, no questions in Q&A. Tara, did you just wanting to double check in chat just to make sure that nothing got missed?
Yep, nothing else in chat.
All right. Well, as always, if you do have a question while you are in here and working around and you just can't find what you're looking for or need some further help, please reach out to us. We're here for you and we can assist you. And remember that what you do here is a sandbox environment, and so none of this stuff will go into the production environment. So if you're adding users here so that they can get in and test and look around, that's wonderful. That's what we're looking for. But if they weren't here to start with, you'll need to remember to add them into the production environment when we go live at the end of the month. And then tomorrow's training is in-depth on the left navigation. And this left navigation, we will also, right after the discussion about the left navigation, Mallory, our SME for the metering reports, she will give an in-depth explanation on these metering reports, and it will roll right after our training, which we are finding is ending a little bit early, but we wanted to make sure that there was plenty of time for questions. And so just keep that in mind if you have some users that want to look into and get an explanation about those metering reports, that they log in a little bit earlier than planned because we are ending sooner than normal or sooner than our scheduled time.
Maggie, one more. Sorry, where do we find the link to the YouTube videos?
Tara, do you have that link that you can put into the chat and the Q&A?
I don't have it yet because they have not been uploaded. So as soon as they get uploaded, we'll go ahead and put that out on bpa.gov as well. They just have not been uploaded, so we don't know what the final link is.
Okay. So we're providing you the direct link to this recording itself, and the other recordings as well. But the links will be specific to that, not just to the YouTube page. And just for the record, that was the first time I heard that question. So that's awesome. Thank you for giving us something a little bit different today. Were there any others?
One from Dennis. Has there been an email sent to my configured business users?
An email to your configured users.
Yeah, the account current users, I believe is what he means. Dennis continues, I asked because no one has asked me about the new portal. So explain that we pulled it from legacy, the users.
Yes, if there was a permission or a user in legacy customer portal, then they are in this system, which meant that they would have gotten an email with their name, their username is their email address, but then they would have gotten their temporary one-time password reset. So if they aren't getting those, you could reach out just to verify. Again, it might be in their junk email, but anybody that was a user in legacy is in the sandbox environment. Did that help, Dennis?
Well, he commented, no, I am an Exchange admin, so I know that didn't happen.
Okay. Dennis,
well, and
about...
yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, because if you're having a problem, we can take that offline to be very specific about your permissions or your actual account information. So we can take that offline if we need to. Just send an email to the customer portal box so that I can get that, and then I can make some time or give you a call, and we can talk about that.
Maggie, in the chat, yes. I have somebody whose questions aren't appearing in the Q&A,
oh, no.
but she was asking about the error message that you're not the authorized user when you're trying to get into the sandbox. So I was going to let you describe that this is a known issue and what she needs to do.
Yes, this is a known issue when you're trying to log in and you're seeing a white screen that says you're not authorized right across the top and contact your customer admin or your portal admin. We do know that that is an issue, and our vendor is working on that, and we're hoping to have that resolved this afternoon. After training, they want to take down the sandbox environment to get that fixed. So we're hoping that we get that information soon. But right now, yes, some users are getting an you're not authorized, and we're trying to get that resolved right away.
And they should send us an email, is that correct? So then we can get back to them when it is fixed?
They can. We were just going to probably send an email out, like a little master blaster from customer portal at bpa.gov, saying that any user that was having this error message, it should be resolved and to please try again. But that way it doesn't overwhelm the inbox. We can just send out a master blaster to everybody because it's hit and miss on how many people are getting it from each different account. And so this way we would be able to hit all of those.
Thank you, Maggie.
You bet. And sorry the Q&A isn't working. That's an odd one. That one I don't have an answer for. I'll have to check with the WebEx team on that one. Any others?
I don't have anything in Q&A.
Okay.
I don't have any more in chat.
Okay, and we are also capturing the chat and the Q&A, so I'll be able to pull those out as well, and we could send an email out to that specific user that's having problems getting into the you're not authorized error. So if you put it in there as well, then we'll be able to capture that, and we can send something out. Well, if there are no more questions, I really do appreciate you taking the time today out of your busy schedules. I know that it's so difficult during this time frame and time of year to be able to carve out such a large amount of time. And I do appreciate that you've taken that time to be with us today. So again, if you have any questions, you can call us 503-230-5933. That was not the right number. It's 503-230-5999. Or you can send us an email at customerportal@bpa.gov. And then just a reminder, this exact training will be again next Tuesday, the 22nd. So if you want to listen in again, you're more than welcome. But if maybe your other CP admin wasn't able to make it today, we do have this happening again 2 times next Tuesday, one starting at 9 a.m. and then another starting at 1. And then tomorrow is a generic in-depth left navigation dive and explaining all of those pieces. So if you want to attend that, you're more than welcome as well. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate it, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thanks for attending.
Thank you.